Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Boating Roundtable. I'm Kevin Falvey, Editor-in-Chief, and I'm here with Garrett Koschak, Global Product Manager from Manitou Pontoon Boats. Garrett, welcome.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Hey, welcome back. We were here just a few weeks ago. We had a great discussion.
Absolutely.
We're back today, and this is a particularly poignant episode of the Roundtable because Garrett is one of the companies, he's taken his pontoon boats in a direction that's addressing the influx of new boaters into the market. We're seeing that at Boating Magazine. We have a lot of new readers. When I say new, I don't mean new, just new readers or new social media fans, but new boaters, completely new people, never boated before, are buying boats, buying his pontoon boats, and he's going to tell us how he's addressing that. So Garrett, what is the primary thing you're doing to address this influx of brand new boaters into the marketplace?
Well, Kevin, a lot of really exciting stuff has happened for us this year in 2021. To kick it off, though, we just got some survey results back that show that our new entrant purchasers, specifically in our boat segment, has doubled in the last year. And that's a key component that we try to measure, because when you're getting somebody who's never been a boater or has been out for several years and they're coming back, so they still qualify as new, so much has changed in boating over the last few years that you really need to focus on what makes them feel comfortable about the purchase experience, the experience at the dealership, and then, of course, the experience on the water. They go hand in hand. If you lose one of those, you're really going to struggle getting them to step up and buy the boat, but then also stay in boating. The worst thing that could happen, especially in today's day and age, is they buy something, they really are excited about it for a few months, a year or so down the road, something happens, or we get back to a normal world and maybe they go on vacation instead. But we want them to be able to look at that boat every day and say, yep, that was a great purchase. I want to keep it for many years to come.
Absolutely. So break it down first. Start with the purchase experience. Everyone wants to get to the boats. We're going to hear about the boats, folks. Don't worry. But give us a little bit about how you're making the purchase experience more open and amenable to new boaters, please.
So what we've really tried to do this year is build off of kind of an automobile mentality in terms of how the boats are configured and what the consumer can expect when they walk into the dealership. Previously, and we've all experienced this before, if you had to build a boat from the ground up and you walked into the dealership, you either didn't know exactly what was on it, there was far too many choices, you could have one of 15 different colors and one of 75 different options, and you almost got a little bit overwhelmed, if you will, when you were trying to pick exactly what you wanted. You didn't know if that was something you're actually going to use. Is that something everybody else buys? So from a dealership experience perspective, specifically to Manitou and our Aurora LE product, which is considered our entry-level offering, what we've done is we've really reduced the complexity of that buying process. In our non-fishing platforms from 20 to 25 feet long, we've gone with one floor plan. It's called our RF, which is our rear facing. So it's the most popular layout in pontoons right now. It's 4 benches on each corner of the boat, plus the captain's chair and co-captain's chair. And what that does is it allows a consumer to come in and say, yep, that configuration is going to fit my needs. I can fit the most amount of people on the boat that I need. And what we've done is gone one step further and say, okay, here's the 3 most popular colors. Here's the 4 most popular accent colors that are available. Pick and choose your combinations based on what our design team has been able to put in place. And by the way, we'll take it one step further. Here's the single options package with the 10 most popular options that over 96% of all of our buyers have purchased historically on every single one of our boats, with one package, one click of the button, one checkbox on the invoice, one checkbox on the order form, and you get everything you're going to need to have a fun-filled day out on the water, whether it's with your family, with 1 or 2 other people, of course, socially distanced in today's day and age. But if you could ever fit 12 people on the boat, we've got a seat and a function for everybody on that.
So that's great. So unlike an experienced boater who goes in, maybe knows what they want.
Exactly.
Experienced boating family goes in and they know exactly what they want, and they're not befuddled and confused by a lot of options and so forth. A new boater could be turned off from the get-go, and then just from by being bewildered by an array of options that's so many choices that it can befuddle you.
Exactly. We've tried to really make it easy for our dealers to connect with our consumers without any sort of back and forth of which floor plan, what color, what package, what options. It's all right there, very concise for the dealers to add their credibility to the consumers, for the consumers to understand exactly what they're getting right up front. There's no questions about what's on the boat. And then really the only choice comes down to, do I want a twin tube that I'm going to putz around my little lake and maybe tow my 4 or 5-year-olds on a tube, or maybe some water skis with a 90 horse, or do I want a 3-tube boat with the optional rating up to 200 horsepower? Those are really the only true decision the customers are going to have to make. And of course, we leave those open for the customers because that's what really is going to define their boating experience. Do you want to just go slow and cruise around a 300-acre lake, or do you want to get up and rip it with a 200 horsepower on a 21-footer? And we give them those options, but we've also condensed those options. We used to have upwards of 4 hull offerings on this one segment of boating that would, again, add that extra layer of confusion. Now the choice is twin tube, rated up to 140 horsepower in a 24-footer, or a 3-tube boat with an optional rating up to 200 on our 21, 23, and 25-footers. And that's it. It's very, very simple to buy, and it's very simple for the dealers to stock this and then display it for the consumers and then deliver it and reorder it as well, because we have very concise offerings, so we don't have to worry about building something that someone's not going to buy. It's working their way down the production line very easily.
That's great stuff. So, but now Manitou, here's the thing. Manitou's always been known as a kind of a premier builder of pontoons. High performance, top quality, luxury, all of these things come to mind historically when one meant Manitou pontoon. So now focus on entry level. How does Manitou, or any boat builder, with that lofty reputation, now build a quote unquote entry level boat? How does some of those elements remain from your DNA, I guess we'll say, into the entry level type boat? Can you? That's
the perfect way to ask. There's the Manitou DNA that the company's had for over 30 years, and then there's the infusion of the BRP DNA for the last 2.5 years since it was purchased by BRP.
BRP is Bombardier Recreational Products. Just
correct. Yep, the parent company of Sea-Doo personal watercraft, Ski-Doo snowmobiles, Can-Am ATVs, etc. We purchased Manitou back in 2019, and so there's this extra layer of design and engineering and production efficiencies that we've been able to add. So what that equates to is we're able to, and we've been doing this for the lifespan of the entire brand, to be honest, we just never really focused on it, is we use the same hull and deck construction on a $200,000 boat that we do on a $25,000 boat. So we build these boats to last for generations. They're built with the same hat channel constructions, which, without going overly technical, what that means is we've got the right strength in the right spot to give the consumer the ability to put a higher horsepower motor on it, to pull a tuber with our standard ski tow bar, to kind of build the experience around their entire family and not have to worry about anything below the seats, because our plywood decking, marine grade plywood decking, all the way down to our hull is backed by a lifetime warranty through our entire product line. And the biggest thing that I've seen, and I appreciate of what Manitou's done, is entry level doesn't have to mean built differently to meet a price point or an expectation. You just have to tailor what is on the boat, or what materials or what certain configurations you offer on the boat to meet certain consumer expectations. So we have a smaller helm that fits in a smaller footprint. We have longer front benches on certain models that we don't offer in the higher end models because we use bigger, bulkier furniture. So we're able to actually offer more seating in our entry-level product because of how we build it up top, to allow for that consumer to say, you know what, I don't really want to step up into that next category yet, to our new point about new entrants. I'm just getting into this. I don't know if I'm really going to want it. This entry-level boat from Manitou, I know it's built tough. I can get the engine I want on it, and I've actually got a lot of seating capacity for it. And then one step further beyond that is this year we gave that boat, the Aurora LE specifically, an entire interior refresh. We've never really given that boat any sort of updates. So from furniture designs, et cetera. Yep.
What kind of updates are on it, on the interior? Like, can you give some examples?
Exactly. So what we did first off is we went down to 2 interior color palettes. We have a white and charcoal and kind of a tan, dark tan themed interior. But what we've done is we've reshaped the benches to have a little bit more modern lines, completely redesigned the fabric that we use, more of a cool touch feel because it's white. Multi-tonal fabrics. It used to be a very monotone gray or a monotone tan inside the boats. We've got multi-tonal furnitures in there as well. 2 years ago, we started offering Garmin as our standard dashboard configuration. So we use Garmin on everything from Aurora LE up to our XT model. So that's $25,000 up to $200,000. We use a standard digital dashboard. So that's a great way to add that unique consumer experience of having everything right at the touch of a button.
Right.
We upgraded to Fusion stereos, which are owned by Garmin. We talked about this the last time as well. That integration between the dashboard, the stereo, and your phone has become far more important than it ever has in today's day and age. And it's not just Bluetooth anymore. Yeah. It's Wi-Fi, it's connectivity, it's connected to the screen, it's whatever they define it to be. And so by setting up with Fusion now, we're able to piggyback on whatever developments they have as we continue to offer Garmin into our entire lineup. So the umbrella statement is it's an entire refresh. The entire boat from the flooring up got completely redesigned, new furniture layout. What's the most important part on a pontoon boat? It's cup holders. What we've done this year on our 23-footer is gone from 2 standard cup holders to 10 standard cup holders. You can never have enough cup holders on a boat, and instead of having them be add-on accessories where you have to pick and choose where they go, we fully integrated them into the seats to be part of the exclusive package that's available on the boat, so they don't feel like they're an add-on. They're really integral to the entire boat.
That's really great. And cup holders really are a big part of the pontoon experience, along with the stereo, aren't they?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Would you get a review for our audience? The power selection of brands of power available. Is this are they limited to brands with the Aurora series, for instance?
No. So we don't limit the brands that are offered. We do offer all 4 of the major 4-stroke brands. We've got Yamaha, Mercury, Suzuki, and Honda. With Mercury being our supplier of choice at this point, they are the #1 engine brand, in the United States. So it makes sense. They have a great reputation in the industry, but so do Yamaha, Suzuki, and Honda. So we're able to give our customers exactly what they want. If they want to put it on there, we can do it, from mechanical shift to digital shift to power steering to hydraulic steering to cable steering, you name it, we've got it. But that still allows us to be concise in our offering because we have consistent lengths of hoses and systems within the boat to know that the customers can pick. We can build the boat fast, we can build the boat efficiently, and we can limit any sort of delays we may have of getting the customer their boat. We could go for hours on the technical aspects of what rigging means, but what it comes down to is we can build boats efficiently and get them to the customers without missing some of their expectations. If you miss Memorial Day weekend in boating, you're done. We know that, especially in the snow belt. So we build processes to meet those expectations. Right,
and that helps control the cost that I pay for my boat too, because rigging is time and time is money, et cetera. I mean, it's a fact of life.
Exactly right. We do it. We have a lot of offerings, but we do it to make sure it's simple for the customer. The only thing we do have from I don't want to say limitation, but from a concise offering, if you will, is on our 3-tube models, we do offer the max horsepower rating up to 200. And that's specifically to target what the industry has shown us is the expectations for this segment. So this segment you'd call the value segment for us, or the entry-level segment across the entire industry, which is predominantly 20 to 22-foot boats. And most of them are going out with somewhere between a 115 or 115 to a 200, So when you get to that 250, that 300, those are $25,000 motors. That's over half their budget at some time, and might be their entire budget. So we've really set up these boats to be positioned as price conscious for not just the new entrants, but also that family that's just getting back into it, that may not need to put a $65,000 boat on their small lake. It's a really concise offering within the horsepower ranges as well. But again, not limited to a brand at all.
That's really great stuff. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, a lot of we know that from our readers and our digital audience, there's a slew of new boaters coming in, and I'm sure they appreciate efforts by companies such as Manitou to cater to them, both in buying and in delivering and manufacturing boats that are targeted right at that returning boater or that brand new boater. What other news is going on at Manitou? Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today, Garrett? Since we've got a captive audience with an industry bigwig, let's something.
Well, I think there's some interesting points you just made about the new entrants versus the other buyer profiles. So what we've seen across Manitou as a whole is, again, just to revisit that, is our typical buyer is a 90% replacer. They've had something in the past, and so they evolve upwards. But what we were losing was, again, getting them in so they could replace and move up our line. So, and I think that's kind of across the entire industry, is we need to capture so many of these families and these new entrants into the market. And we're going after it with sales promotions and programs. And again, really trying to drive the dealer and consumer experience to get product on the ground at the dealerships, to make them confident in what they're ordering, so the consumers can come in and order it as well and know that they're going to get it and know exactly what they're getting when they order it. In addition to that, I mentioned that there was an options package for the Aurora LE, and we call that our limited package, and that's a very concise offering, as I mentioned. So that would include options such as upgraded mid-back chairs, a little bit more comfort and ergo at the helm, woven vinyl flooring, you know, that real nice soft vinyl flooring that you get, interior courtesy lighting, LED lighting with, you know, on the front of the boat for docking and navigation, and a few other options right there. But it's a very concise offering. But we've also taken that philosophy of options packages and put that across our entire lineup. So to add some context, in one particular model, we used to have 65 different options that you would have to filter through before you could finalize the build of your boat. Take it to 2021 model year, we've now given that boat 3 options packages, and then about 15 different a la carte options that we don't necessarily want to force on a consumer, but we want to let them pick and choose. And the biggest ones would be like stereo systems or wakeboard tower speakers, you know, those ones that are kind of really experience dependent.
Really
exactly. Right. But they're able to pick and choose these options packages and know from our online configurator before they even walk into the dealership, I want an Aurora LE with a limited package, or I want an Encore with the premium package. And our dealers will know exactly what's in that package, and they'll be able to stock it.
The online configurator at you can look up the URL for that in the comment section below, folks.
Yeah, it'd be ManitouPontoonBoats.com. And we have the online configurator that allows you to walk step by step through color, model, options packages, you know, standard a la carte options, et cetera. And they can pick and choose what they want to meet their expectations. But the process has gone so much simpler and so much faster because they're not spending all these times. Well, what is this? Or, you know, do I want to add this? Do I want to add that? What does this do to the price? It's all listed right there for MSRP. This is the impact on the boat. This is what it includes. This is what you're going to get for your money. And it's right there, right out in front of them. They can print out that entire form, bring it to their dealership, and the dealership can build the boat right there on our internal site to get it ordered for them if they want to.
That sounds like great stuff, Garrett. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah, the last big change that we made, and I mentioned in our last interview as well, but I think it's worth noting, is we've taken the boat that you can see behind me, which was formerly called our Explode model, which again is our flagship model. It's that one that you see ripping around the lake with twin engines and the big wakeboard tower. Its sister model last year was called the Legacy, and that was a more kind of softer color palette, more luxurious feel versus the Explode, which was the sportier, flashy greens and reds and blues, etc.
Right.
We've condensed it down into one model called our LX model. And what we've done is we've given it all the same features, all the same benefits, all the same horsepower ratings, all the same consumer choices between towers and, you know, upgraded JL speakers and all sorts of stuff that you could put on that boat. But we've condensed it to one model offering. So now there's less confusion. Do I want a Legacy? Do I want an Explode? Well, I want an LX. Do you want a sportier color palette? Do you want a luxurious color palette, more softer tones, etc.? And after that, process is all the same. Pick your packages, pick your horsepowers, pick your configuration, and you're done. There's not the confusion at the dealer level. Do I stock this? Do I stock that? There's not the confusion at the consumer level. Do I want a Legacy? Do I want to Explode? What's the difference? The answer was there was no difference. We just called them something different and made them different colors. Now they're all the same. So really the philosophy at Manitou in general, and I would say across all of our BRP product lines, is to really give the customers a simplified offering without taking away their choices. You know, we just make it easier to do business with us, to purchase our products, to be satisfied with our products after the purchase experience. And we're really trying to go after that new approach to buying power sports and recreation products and make it simple, make it easy, make it fun, so they really enjoy their product, especially, again, to revisit this one more time, because there's so many new entrants in this market now. Right. If you don't get them in right off the bat and build that consumer satisfaction right from the beginning, it'll be too easy for them to drop out in years to come.
Right, and they're not used to it. You know, those of us with a history of boating or grew up with boating or
exactly
buying and selling boats over the years, we understand that boats are like a hand-built product. It's not automotive, and we may have that patience, let's say, or
exactly,
or the fact that our lifestyle is so embedded with boats. we're willing to put up with some legacy old-fashionedness in the industry. And,
exactly right.
But a new boater doesn't have that. You know, he's looking forward. He has no past of good experiences to like lubricate his experience.
to work through all the nuances of what it takes to buy a boat. Our industry, boating in general, is rather antiquated, let's be honest. And we know that we have some catching up to do.
Right. It's compared to the car business all the time, but it's really nowhere near the car business in you know, this for a lot of reasons. But this is great though, to see a company like yours really addressing these things, and you know, it's addressing these new boaters, but it's also helping to elevate the industry and bring it forward into the 21st century. You know? Right,
to capture those legacy buyers as well as the new buyers. And the one thing, and I think you and I can both relate to this, my family's been in the boating industry from a profession since 1975. I'm the third generation of my family to work for either the Evinrude or BRP brand at this point. And we have those emotional connections to boating. We have the lifestyle that we built on from when we were 6 years old, or when you're fishing with your dad or something like that, that really kind of helps you take that first step to walk into a dealership to say, yes, I want to buy a boat, whether it's, again, an expensive one or a new one or an entry-level one. It doesn't matter. We still have that connection. I was just speaking with someone the other day about this, is we need to find a way to get past the lack of emotional connection that a lot of our new entrants have. And that's making it simple. That's marketing the product to a experiential standpoint, not the product base. You know, we're doing a lot of lifestyle photography, lifestyle images, lifestyle trending on all of our advertising to really build up that family, that fun on the water that they may not have any experience with, and we need to show them.
They don't
exactly
know,
right.
They don't know really what the potential of owning a boat does, and what experiences you can have once you own a boat. They have an idea, but they don't know. Unlike, you know, there's a whole segment that doesn't know it yet.
Right, and those are the ones that are actively looking to do something other than being stuck at home. And granted, we're going into the winter time now, but the incentives are going to get good. This is the right time to start looking to preparing for what the future is going to look like next summer. But you have to find a way to trigger what that new emotion is going to be for them. And we're really trying to do that with our marketing strategy, with our product strategy, to really build this cohesive plan for everybody.
Garrett Koschak, Global Product Manager for Manitou Pontoon Boats. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Please visit Manitou's website at ManitouPontoonboats.com and tune in for our next episode of Boating Roundtable.